Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today I want to talk about House Yronwood. This is a concept that occurred to me a few months ago. While I was thinking about making my video about how Dorne was the Wales of Westeros, I was looking through the Dornish House sigils, and it suddenly hit me out of the blue. The Yronwood sigil is exactly the same as the coat of arms used by the Beauforts, which is a black portcullis. For anybody who doesn't know, the Beaufort family are the family that give the Tudor dynasty their claim to the throne. The Beaufort's claim to the throne comes from John of Gaunt, who was the third son of Edward III, but the Beauforts were originally bastards. John of Gaunt had with his mistress, Catherine Swynford, but later, after John of Gaunt was widowed, he married Catherine and legitimised their 3 sons and 1 daughter, with the understanding that none of them could ever claim the throne because they were born outside wedlock. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like the legitimisation of the great bastards by King Aegon IV Targaryen? And when we think of great bastards, who do we think of? We think of the Blackfyres, don't we? And Bloodraven. You might be asking around now, where do the Yronwoods fit in? And this is a video about House Yronwood and how I believe they represent the Tudors. The Tudors of course originate from Wales, and if you haven't seen my video on why Dorne is the Wales of Westeros, you should go and check it out. The link will be in the description of this video. House Yronwood of Yronwood is the most powerful house in Dorne after the ruling family, the Martells. Their seat is Yronwood. It is the last fortress defending the Boneway. This is reflected in their title, the Warden of the Stoneway. House Yronwood claimed the title High King of Dorne before the arrival of the Rhonar, and the head of the Yronwood family still style themselves the Blood Royal. A little pretentious, don't you think? Especially for a bannerman. According to semi-canon sources, their motto is "We guard the way," and their sigil is a black portcullis on a field of sand. So we know the Yronwoods view themselves as the protectors of Dorne, protecting Dorne from the rest of Westeros, just like the Tudor brothers, Edmund and Jasper, protected Wales. The current heir to House Yronwood in A Song of Ice and Fire is called Gwyneth. Gwyneth is a traditional Welsh name meaning happiness, and as we know, George R.R. Martin puts an awful lot of emphasis on people's names and the importance behind them. So, I feel it is very important to mention that the Tudors claim descent from Marchud ap Sad, Lord of Roche and protector of Rhodri, the great king of Gwynedd. That is quite a mouthful to try and say, and I apologise to any native Welsh speakers if I have pronounced any of it incorrectly, but one thing in the name stood out to me. Doesn't Gwynedd sound an awful lot like Gwyneth? And I had to look it up, and Gwynedd even has a similar meaning. It means white, happiness, or blessed. So, could these 2 words be interchangeable? I looked it up and it turns out they could be, as there are different dialects throughout Wales, and they could simply be the same word from different regions, spelt and pronounced slightly differently. So, we have established the similarities between the Tudors and Yronwoods when it comes to their house's sigil and the meanings of their first names. We have also established that the Yronwoods come from Dorne, and Dorne is a representation of Wales in A Song of Ice and Fire. We also know that the Tudors come from an originally bastardized, then legitimized royal line, just like the Blackfyres. You might be asking why I keep bringing up the Blackfyres, and isn't it a great big leap to go 1, 2, 3 things in common? Here come the Blackfyres, but hold on a minute. We know from the world of Ice and Fire that the Yronwoods joined Sir Aegor Rivers in the Blackfyre Rebellions, not once, not twice, but 3 times, turning against the Targaryens and the Martells, to whom they owed their loyalty. So, why does a large, powerful house join a rebellion 3 times? Once you could maybe understand, perhaps they wanted to make a move for power, grab Dorne back from the Martells, but 3 times in a row, each time facing failure, treason and execution, that speaks to me of far more than simple power play. I think there probably is a family tie between the Yronwoods and Blackfyres. just like the Tudors and the Lancastrians were intermarried, especially because we know many of the Ironwoods have blonde hair and blue eyes. Many of the Targaryens also have blonde hair and blue eyes instead of the trademark silver and purple. Good Queen Alysanne, for example. Alysanne was a small woman, slim of waist and slight of frame. She was small-breasted, with a long neck and fair complexion, a high forehead and high cheekbones. Alysanne was often described as pretty, but seldom as beautiful. She had blue eyes and honey-coloured curls. So maybe there was a marriage somewhere in the past linking the Ironwoods and Blackfyres together. Maybe more than one marriage, as we only have 3 generations of the Ironwood family tree, and each time the wife is listed as unknown. This is very unlike George R.R. Martin, as he is normally very thorough in his world building. So I went back and had a look at the great bastards of King Aegon IV Targaryen, and I remembered that Brynden Rivers, better known as Bloodraven, had 2 older sisters, Maya Rivers and Gwenny Rivers. We know virtually nothing about Bloodraven's sisters apart from their names, and the name Gwenny's looks far too much like Gwyneth, the current heir to House Yronwood, for my comfort, so I decided to look up the meaning of the name Gwynny's. And guess what? It is a Welsh girl's name, and it means fair one, soft and white, or blessed, which is nearly exactly the same as the meaning of the region of which the Tudors hail from, Gwynedd, which means white happiness or blessed. I honestly think there are too many names and sigil similarities to simply dismiss this theory, as we know how much thought, time, and effort goes into George R.R. Martin's name choices for his characters. I personally believe House Yronwood will form the backbone of the 6th Blackfyre Rebellion and join young Griff, just like the Tudors always formed the backbone of the Lancastrian rebellions. There is also this quote I picked up from Ariane Martell in A Feast for Crows, where she is discussing the current head of House Yronwood, Andres, and how he is a chauvinist who believes in male succession, while he is talking to Aerys Oakheart. Andres Yronwood is Criston Cole reborn. He whispers in my brother's ear that he should rule after my father, that it is not right for men to kneel to women, that Ariane especially is unfit to rule, being wilful and wanton as she is. It does not sound to me like Andres Yronwood would be supporting Daenerys Targaryen anytime soon if that is his attitude to female rulers. So, until we get The Winds of Winter, or the 2nd installment of Fire and Blood, let me leave you with the wise words of Tyrion Lannister. How many Dornishmen does it take to start a war? Only one. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I have a playlist with all my Game of Thrones videos on it, and I also have a playlist where I compare wildcards and Game of Thrones characters. I put out a new video every Tuesday. Until next time, bye!